So in this video, I will introduce you how to debug your D3 program using the Google Chrome browser. So first of all, let's look at this example. So this is a stack bar chart we mentioned in our lecture. So one important issue is that many of you are still confusing with this D value and also I value. So this anonymous function, how this D and I change while our program work. So let's look at how to know what's going to be the D and I here. This could help you to better understand the mechanism of this stack function, and also if you have some issues with your program, say if you have some values not correct, you could use the following method to check whether your program has some bugs. So now let's begin. So generally, in order to know the variable in your program, there are two ways. The first way is kind of intuitive. So basically, just print this D out. So in the Dev script, we use this called console.log, and then we could print our D when we run the program. So you can think of this console.log is similar to the print function in your Python, if you're familiar with Python, or it's similar to the system out print in your Java function. So that's just like if you're not that familiar with JavaScript, you can just think of this console log. It's similar to print or system out print ln. So now let's look at how it works. So in the Google Chrome browser, if you go to this view and click developer, there is a developer tools, or you could just right click your web page and click this inspect. It will automatically open this developer console or panel to you. So it contains several parts, but for now we're only going to use three. So the first one is elements. So this one shows the basic web page structure. As you can see, if my mouse move to the body, it can show you what's going to be the structure of my body. It has a div, which is a chart. It also has an SVG within it. For the SVG, it has 3G, which contains the three different series of bar chart. Each G contains 5 rectangles, as we mentioned in the lecture. So the second tab is called console, where you can just write some simple program here. For example, I can add like var a equals to var b equals to 1, and let's try a plus b is equal to 2. It provides a very simple way for you to write some JavaScript code to validate your hypothesis. For the last part, the source part, it shows the original source code of your program here. So we can see the index here, but here it haven't shows the JavaScript program. So if we refresh it, it shows this start bar JavaScript program. So now let's run our program and see what happens here. Okay, so in the 39, we try to print out this D, and then we can see here it's already in the console. So we can find that we print out a 5 element array. Each array contains the start point and end point of this rectangle. For example, the first one is corresponding to this one. The second one, 0, 60, is corresponding to the second rectangle here. So that is how it works. So another method I'm going to told you is that you can use the breakpoint to see what's going to be your D or what's going to be your I. This method is more efficient since you do not need to print out everything every time, and you can run your program and see the results on the fly. So let's see how to do it. So if you go to your source tab and then you just click on this line numbers. So you click like this D, but let's first refresh our page for now. So if you press this line number, it will add a breakpoint for you. So then if you refresh your page, it will stop here. And now you can see your D is equals to this 5 element array. But what you can see here is that it shows your all the local variables here. As you can see, we have this D. And if we click this button or this button, it will resume the script execution and go to the next D. So as you can see, the next D is going to be the second series. The third D is going to be the last series. And if we click it again, it will show the results. So you could also add a breakpoint here to see what's going to be the D and I here. So if I rerun this program, and we can see the first D here is the first element inside that 5 element array. And then we go to the next one, next one, next one, and next one. So now we finish the first 5 rectangle. Then we go to the second 5 rectangles. So that is how it works, and also you can see the I represents the index. It also changed as I clicking this button. So that is how you can look at this local variables in your program. So when you write a program, you may find that your program doesn't really work. This might due to your local variable is not correct because of some logic. So you may go back to your code here and just add some breakpoint to see if your program works. So for example, if this D works but my results still not correct, then it means that my following code may have some error. So I will add a breakpoint at the following and just cancel the previous breakpoint to see what happened there. And finally, we could do some like that diagnostic what happened to our program to fix our program here. So that's the thing I want let you know to how to debug your D3 program. It's quite similar to the video I shared you before, which is published by the official Google developer. So, but here I show a more concrete case and also show some D3 code to you. So I hope you learn how to debug your code, and that's all.